Back to back. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. Now, I'm here from the live stream on YouTube at The Run Podcast. So check us out if you're listening to the podcast version of this on Spotify, iPodcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in on all platforms. You got to see the clips. You got to see the live streams. Wherever you listen, just continue to do that, actually. So very much appreciate it. But I'm not going to hold you up, man. Look, so Shedeur Sanders got drafted in the 5th round, the 6th pick all the way to the 5th round, which was just insane. I did not expect that personally. I'm on record saying that, okay, Shedeur Sanders was probably going to fall late 1st round and maybe even early 2nd round, but no way in hell did I expect him to fall all the way to the 5th round. It got to a point where I'm watching Shedeur Sanders and I'm just looking at everybody else being drafted in front of him. And I'm like, okay, now Falcons, if you get the chance, if this man fall all the way to the 6th round, Falcons, like, let's just do it just because. So a couple of things I do want to unpack in this whole situation here. So obviously, you know, a lot of people immediately thought that this was just completely wrong. Like, Shedeur Sanders, great talent, can throw the ball, extremely talented, helped the multiple college programs out in terms of elevating their game. And you know, eventually he fell down way in the rankings. People were expecting him to be an early draft pick. At one point in time, he was projected to be a top 10, top 5 draft pick, top 3 quarterback that was already drafted. But yet none of this even happened. So, you know, it caught a lot of people by surprise. Myself, me, not really. However, the first things first, I want to sit here and tell you that, you know, Shedeur Sanders was not being targeted by the NFL. I don't think Shedeur Sanders was being, you know, blackballed in any sort of way toward the NFL. I really don't think the NFL particularly set out a plan to do this to Shedeur Sanders and move him all the way back to the 5th round. I mean, it was said on multiple occasions ever since the college football season ended that his interviews was going extremely horrible. Obviously, a lot of people were saying he's entitled. A lot of people were saying that he's just going to bring nothing but drama to a program. So these were some of the concerns from NFL teams, and these are documented all throughout his college career, all throughout the offseason after he finished college and everything. So this isn't anything that nobody's making up. I'm not making this up. This is well documented. So you can go back and look at all the evidence that is there from Shedeur Sanders being entitled and this and that and this and that. Now, one of the things that stuck out to me, despite all of the reports that people were talking about with Shedeur Sanders is this and that, the one thing that stuck out to me and the reason that I didn't think that on my scale in my mock draft that he was a top 5 quarterback or a top quarterback or top prospect to be drafted was the fact that I'd never seen a dude take accountability. Maybe a lot of other people recognize that as well. But anybody out there who's saying, oh, Shedeur was blackballed, he did that, he deserved to be this, whatever. Yes, I know he's talented, but also that's just not the only part of the game. It's a lot more layers to it, especially when you're the quarterback of a team. So for me, drafting somebody who's going to be the quarterback of my team, and yet I've never seen him take responsibility ever in any bad play, in any bad game, bad situation. It's always looking to deflect. Every time I see it, it's someone else's fault. They didn't do this. The line didn't do this. This didn't happen. That is a big red flag. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the chat, anybody in the stream, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that not a red flag that your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, is the one that's never taking any accountability? Because I find it crazy. How many times do we see guys in the NFL now as a quarterback accept whatever it was, accept all the blame for something that wasn't even their fault? We watched Lamar Jackson almost go to the Super Bowl, but he did not do that because Mark Andrews dropped the ball on the goal line, could have won in the game, but yet Lamar Jackson still went to the press conference and said, you know, it was on me. It was on me. I could have did something better. So that's the first thing right there of why I'm like, no, I doubt that Shedeur Sanders was being looked at any type of way where, okay, we got to set this plan out to intentionally move him down back to the 5th round. No, I'm not buying all of that. A lot of people too, the second thing I want to address here, a lot of people resorted to the fact that, oh, Shedeur's confident. He's a confident black dude. He obviously understands his own talent, all of that. That's cool and everything. And I still agree with you right there. But also, you know, that's just the easy way out. Truth be told, that's the easy way out. Blaming it on race And race baiting, in a sense, to me, that's an easy way out, bro. Because, like I said, I don't want my franchise quarterback to be someone who's always deflecting. I don't give a damn how skilled he is. Now, do I think Shedeur was one of the least skilled quarterbacks in the draft? Hell no. Obviously, he's talented, but I don't want a quarterback who never takes accountability. That's just not what I would personally want. And maybe all of the other GMs in the league thought that as well. So that's my thing on there. The race card is just kind of an easy argument. It's an easy escape. And it's a lazy analysis, in my opinion, because there was just much more to it than that. I mean, Cam Ward literally went number one. And I know Cam Ward and Shedeur is two different people, but you got to be a damn fool to sit here and tell me that Cam Ward isn't confident in his work. Just because he doesn't flaunt it doesn't mean he's confident. And I know it's a slight difference here of, okay, this guy is confident and he flaunts it and he knows it, whatever, versus the other guy who is more humble about it. But I mean, I still just think that's a little bit of a stretch to say, oh, well, they didn't draft him because of his race, because he's confident, because of this, because of that. Like, bro, every defensive back in the league thinks they're the best defensive back to ever touch a football. Every running back thinks they're the best running back to ever touch a football. Same with wide receiver. So Shedeur is not the first quarterback to be arrogant and loud. We've seen Johnny Manziel. We've seen Baker Mayfield. We've seen plenty of other quarterbacks who was arrogant and loud. Cam Newton was also one of those guys who was arrogant and loud. Like, he's not the first quarterback to ever enter the NFL that was arrogant and loud. So you pulling a race card on it is just a little crazy to me when there's a lot more other pieces to the story that we're not really connecting. Like, again, the main point that I keep making is that Shedeur Sanders never takes accountability. I cannot be the only one that notices that. And if you disagree with that, please, I beg you, please find me a clip of him saying that this pass was my fault or this game was my fault. The L was on me, please, because the footage is not out there. You cannot find that. And I know it would be documented because it would be the first of any time he's ever said anything like that. So I know it would be documented. But I'm not buying the whole race card. So that's lazy analysis there. That should not, ever. That's lazy analysis. I'm gonna leave it at that. Third thing here, Cleveland Browns, and then I'll let you guys go. Cleveland Browns here. I think they did a great job in the draft. Obviously, they picked up on some defense in the first round. But weird move to have such a stacked quarterback room. I don't really understand it with the Cleveland Browns. And genuinely speaking, now that they have a quarterback room that's, not really, in a way, extremely talented. Like, to me, the quarterback room is straight, but the quarterback room also isn't a fearful quarterback room for the Cleveland Browns. Like, despite everybody else they have over there in the Browns quarterback room, I still think Shedeur Sanders will probably end up starting by week 7. At some point, the fans are going to beg for him to start because, I mean, he is a talented individual. Now, the other things that come with it, maybe the Browns want to deal with it or not. But at the end of the day, you did draft the guy, so you got to deal with it. But the Browns, they got a loaded quarterback room. I don't think it's fearful. They just have a lot of options to put on a hell of a quarterback duel. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But above all, man, I'm obviously happy Shedeur Sanders did get drafted. I anticipated it way earlier than the 5th round. But, hey, I mean, the man still got drafted either way. So that's a good thing to happen there. There was also some talent. I was shocked, too, with the Browns, man, because the Browns, it left me in awe with all the quarterbacks and stuff like that. But they got some nice pieces. I'm still shocked. It's just I really don't know if there's another quarterback in the Browns quarterback room that's better than Shedeur Sanders when you talk about skill set and his ability of things to do with the ball. Maybe they might be a little more mature. You can make that argument, but if you're telling me the guy has more accuracy, the guy can throw better deep balls, or he can control the offense a little better, I don't know, man. I wouldn't really fall into that argument. I think Shedeur has the upper hand on that part, so I give it to maybe like week 7, and then Shedeur will probably be starting. Yeah, I give it to week 7. Anyway, look, man, that's all I got. So, of course, I appreciate you if you're tuning in, especially anybody on the live. If you've been tuning in, check us out, bro. Go ahead, look on the YouTube. If you listen to the podcast, switch it up. Listen on YouTube at The Run Podcast. If you listen on YouTube, listen to the podcast on Spotify, iPodcast, wherever you get your podcast, all of that stuff. So definitely appreciate it either way it goes. But look, man, Eric Vincent is about to be joining me on the pod. I'm super excited about this, man. Be reporter for the Detroit Pistons. So you got to tune in. If you're watching the live, you're listening to it, Go and listen to that other episode with Eric Vincent, because we're about to have a field day. I'm super excited to get this show on the road with him. We actually co-hosted together at one point, and it was super exciting. It was super cool. It was out in Detroit, Sports Rap Radio. Man, it was just a fun experience. So I'm always excited to bring Eric Vincent back on. The chemistry is always cool. He knows what he's talking about. The guy knows ball. So I'm excited about that. Tap into that interview. Not really an interview, but tap into the conversation, I should say. Other than that, look, that's all I got. Follow us on social medias at The Run Podcast, and we'll be back with that next episode, actually.